And we are rolling. All right. Welcome to the second episode. I probably should have asked you this before we recorded, but this is going to be called Dr. Dore. Because congratulations, motherfucker, for the 1000th time. You are a doctor. Dr. Ugly is what I call you. Well, thank you again for joining the episode because I know that you live in fucking Germany and we are 6 hours different. So right now it's probably, what is it over there for you?
Right now it's I think is it 6 hours or 7 hours? Right now it's 5:50. Oh yeah, it's 6 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 hours.
Yeah, it's 11:48 over here. Okay.
But yeah, no,
Um,
thanks for inviting me. Honestly, we have been trying to do this for a while. Actually,
you
if
were
I
on one of
remember
my episodes
correctly.
before. You were on my old podcast, right? The Island
Island
Boys.
Boys. When you did Island Boys, I was on one point.
Good times. Good times. This is my third podcast. trying to make it work. All right. We're gonna start off with two simple questions that I'm asking everyone. I kind of do like a two little question thing on every season. Last season it was about like about the bachelorette question or the bachelor's party. If you see your boy cheating, would you expose him, tell him to tell the truth, blah, blah, blah. And also the other question was if COVID was real. So now we got two new fresh questions, a little more professional, a little more kind of interviewee kind of questions. So, try to give the best answer you can. But as right now, what do you think your greatest accomplishment is so far?
Oh wow, that's a nice
All right.
question. Yeah,
Professional,
yeah, yeah.
professional.
My greatest accomplishment so far. I mean, it's got to be my PhD. Honestly.
Flex
Um,
it.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I'm really proud of myself that I was able to do, especially um from where I kind of had to come from for it, and I had to work all through my undergrad and even during my PhD, working 20, 30 hours serving, bartending, back of
Touche.
house, in restaurants and all this and having to go and I remember, having to do homework when it was slow, like in the middle of a work day, and studying and like the way I actually was able to um kind of like grow as a person through acquiring this, right? Like the way that I was able to at some point sit down like this and say to myself, like, this is something I really want. What do I have to do to get it done? You
I
know,
like that. No, no. And if anything, I've joined you, not your whole journey, but I've been there, seen you sacrifice, seen you
of
not
course.
hang out with your friends, have to do stuff first. It's hard. It's hard, even for someone that like isn't going for their PhD. Like, you know what I mean? And God, and you
Of
you
course.
went for your PhD. Holy shit! Like that was so many years of commitment. But can I say that as the years went by, I think you said this to me in person. It was easier and easier for you. Correct?
Um, I don't know. Like it depends on what you mean because the level at every time you go and you do something different, the level increases. Actually, I don't think I would say that actually because the
Well, I
bar
mean,
is the
like
same.
your discipline. I mean, your discipline was easier and easier because I felt like you were more committed. You knew the end goal was getting closer and closer.
Yeah,
That part,
yeah,
I
I
mean.
mean, this is yeah. There's some truth to that, I guess, right? Because especially when you get closer, you can kind of really hone in on it. But it depends. It depends on what you mean by easy.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
know, like it was easy to stay focused on the goal, but that
It
doesn't
wasn't
mean that the
easy.
progress, like the steps you have to take,
We're easy.
are easy.
Yeah, touche.
Because I think like the goal is there, and you can see it. The closer you get, like the clearer you can see it, and the more you kind of want to just get it over with and do it. But I wouldn't say that the process itself is easy. If anything, the bar every time I find myself in kind of a new situation, I just feel like the bar is raised, and I have to adapt and learn how to get to that next level again. Now,
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, that makes entirely sense. This kind of feeds into a little bit of question one, I guess, in a way. But where do you? So right now you're in Germany. We'll talk more thorough about that in a bit. But where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
yeah, I've been wondering this myself recently a lot, to be honest. Yeah, this is. I mean, yeah. So I don't know how quickly you want to get deep on this podcast, but it's definitely something I've been thinking about. Certainly back in the U.S. Definitely back in the U.S. I mean, it's okay to be out for a little while, but I want to go back for many reasons. But the most immediate thing is just my parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, because we both actually have older parents, so we both kind of
Facts.
can, I don't know, relate with this. But my dad is turning 75 this year, and he's
I
still
forgot your dad is my dad's age.
yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
48, 47?
48, 48.
Yeah, so my dad's 76. Yeah, they're only a year apart.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but your dad's not working still full time, is he?
Nah, man, he had to finally call it quits after that car accident a couple years ago, which luckily he was okay, but
Yeah,
shoulder completely took him out.
yeah,
At
yeah,
that
yeah,
point, he had to basically call it quits.
yeah. But he didn't want to, huh? He likes to work.
Yeah, nah, he didn't want to, man. It was very hard. I think that what's it's hard when I think that you want to keep pushing and the body's like I can't keep
Yeah,
up. Like there's no way. And like I think that was his hardest toughest realization in his life because um my dad doesn't really have like hobbies like that. He doesn't really do much other than he was a working man for his whole life. And
it's
when
what he
that
knows how
was
to do. He wants to help provide for his family. I mean,
yeah,
it's
it's
part of his
just weird.
identity almost.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like weird. Like imagine someone coming to you after doing so many things for the years and then telling you, "Yo, by the way, you got to stop now."
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
I don't think
what
anyone's gonna
else am I
accustomed
gonna
to.
do? Yeah.
Yeah, he
No,
was just not accustomed to it. Right now, he's adapting. He's getting a little better. He's trying to find ways to not like to make sure that his time's in good use. I guess that's what he's looking to convert it into,
yeah,
making sure his time isn't just wasted and that he's actually doing something productive,
yeah.
which he does now.
That's good. Yeah, I mean that's what
Ugh.
I hope for my dad also. I mean, but again, your parents are lucky to have someone like you who has also taken the time to make sure that you're also there to take care of them, right? Because you guys
Mm-hmm.
live together, but you also pay rent for this apartment where you live with your parents. Although they go back to Peru every 6 months or so, right? But they
They
have this.
try to. They try to. Right now with the whole Peru, well, like they're in that last year's, fucking crazy shit that was going on with the politics and everything. I don't want to send them back.
Mm,
And but yeah, that's kind of like the ideology to it. Like 6 months here, 6 months there. But my dad basically vetoed that. He's like, "Fuck Peru."
yeah,
Like he'll
craziness.
go, but not for 6 months. He'll go for like
Yeah,
a month or two at
yeah,
most.
yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't really enjoy it over there.
No, but in a sense, like that's kind of we talked about like okay, like what was my biggest accomplishment is getting my PhD, but the drawback to that is I've been I mean this is the first year when I graduated in August, it's the first time in my life that I'm not a student, right? I've been a
Facts.
student for 27 years basically, right? 27, 28 years.
Oh, when you put it like that, it sounds horrible.
It's kind of crazy, right? I mean, look, it's not horrible because I like to learn.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
In a sense, I consider myself still a student because I'm always trying to learn things, right? In a sense,
Yeah.
but just not officially, right? Like I actually have a job, like as a researcher right now, so I'm not a student on paper. But the thing is, when you are a student on paper, it's you don't make so much money, and it's just the reality of the thing. I had to sacrifice that time where I could have been making money, watching my friends make money doing other things. I had to sacrifice this time, and that also meant that I can't take care of my parents, right? I mean, at least I was able to take care of myself completely,
Yeah.
right? It means that I can't take care of them, and so this is something that for me, when I think about the next 5 years, I'm starting to feel a lot like every year counts, you know?
We're getting old, man. That's the honest truth to it. Not like super old, but I mean, we're getting to those important decision years.
Yeah,
Like you said, it's just getting to really thinking about more of others than just yourself.
yeah, definitely.
So
So
I get you with that.
I
That
don't
that
know. I mean,
definitely makes
whether
sense.
definitely in the U.S., hopefully, well, definitely in the U.S., definitely taking care of my parents one way or another. Maybe still in academia, maybe not. I'm not sure. I would definitely make more money outside of academia if I wanted to switch out. But academia is also very difficult to find a permanent position in. I mean,
True.
to find a professorship, right? Because right now I'm not a professor. I'm in this weird in between thing, right? Where I have a PhD, but I'm not a professor. I'm what's called a postdoc or a postdoctoral fellow. That's what they call it. And I'm just basically like a research mercenary, right? Like I have right now, I'm on a 2 plus 1 year contract, which means that I will be here for at least 2, maybe 3 years.
Is that kind of like in what is it? A residency for like doctors, like in like the hospital field? Like you're in the
Yeah,
you're basically
sort
a
of,
doctor. You
sort
just
of.
have to do your time, I guess, in a
It's
way.
analogous. Yeah, yeah, it's analogous. I mean, because the residency they've already finished med school and everything, right?
Yeah.
But they're not quite like a doctor yet. They don't have like a permanent position. But
Yeah.
it's different in that it's different in that the residency is like also like a required like thing that you have to do
Like
to
what you're
become
doing
a
is not
doctor.
required.
And a postdoc technically isn't required. It's just every field in academia has their own standards and their own kind of competition. So it's like in my field almost unheard. Well, it is unheard of for someone to go right from PhD to professorship.
So this
It's
is helping
almost
you, obviously.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if I want to stay in academia and find a professorship, this is the way to do it for sure.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
It's
Well,
just
that's good. That's good.
it's not guaranteed to find a professorship. I mean, not everybody does, right? So
No, I understand. All right. Well, that's good. So the next 5 years, hopefully you're back in the U.S. and who knows? Maybe not New York. Even me. Like I've been telling my parents, I'm exploring. I never thought I would say this, but I'm exploring states outside of it, just because, dude, New York is so.
fucking expensive, man.
It's so crazy. It does not make any sense. I don't understand. Like I just. I've been
It
looking.
is
I've been
expensive.
looking. It's fucking nuts. Even the rent I'm paying. Like shout out to my boy Shane. Definitely getting a discount on what I should be paying on the space because it's
Yeah,
all about space now, right? It's like how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what's
yeah.
offered, like utilities. Like so definitely a big shout out to him like because easily here in New York if you want a 2 bedroom like you're looking at 2200 up like easy, which is crazy. You know what I mean? It's fucking nuts. Person
And
it
that's in
doesn't it
Queens,
doesn't
right?
make
You're,
sense.
I mean, in Queens is
I'm in
probably
Queens too. Like, yeah, well, I'm borderline Queens. I'm like Valley Stream's right there. I'm like 2 minutes. I can literally walk to Valley Stream
yeah, but I
in
think
two
out in
minutes.
Long Island is more expensive, huh?
Probably, yeah.
And then Manhattan is also going to be more expensive, right? So
I
like
mean, right now I know of people renting a room for like 1,200.
a room, yeah, a room. I know, I believe it.
So it's pretty fucking nuts to live here in this
Yeah,
beautiful place. You
that's
you
the
get its
problem.
perks.
It's such a. I mean, like, look. I mean, you want to talk about. I've lived in so many. I've lived in many different places at this point,
That's
right?
true.
And I can tell you wholeheartedly. I mean, every place is unique in its own way that I've been, at least, and I think there's probably, in general, there's a lot of truth to that. Like every place is unique, but New York, especially where we grew up. I mean, to me, I haven't seen anything like it anywhere else. I mean, it's got everything and the way the people are and the diversity that's there. It's a beautiful place. I really believe that. But
It's just for the convenience, man. It's the convenience and exactly what you're saying. The attraction, like when I went to go visit you when you were, we'll talk more thorough about this, but when you were in South Carolina, you
yeah,
were even telling me like, oh yeah, you're not gonna find like a Dunkin' Donuts for miles away, and you're not gonna find one that's maybe open past 11. Like, there's no way.
yeah, 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 yeah,
And I was just like, nah, that's how does that even make sense? Because I was just so fucking smothered in the New York fucking
yeah.
way. Like, you can go to a Dunkin' Donuts anytime in Long Island and
And it's
guarantee you. Now,
open,
maybe not all of them are open now, but
but there's one. There will
there's
be one.
always one.
And if not, there's a
So
McDonald's. If not, there's a 7-Eleven. Like we'll see.
exactly. Exactly. Like, and there's always like it's not that far away. Like you can fucking drive there like
Yeah.
easily.
I mean,
Um,
there are cities that have things like this too, right? Like Chicago's not too far off from that, but it's also not New York, right? And I
it's a
don't know.
city life too, right?
Yeah, I
That's a
mean,
little bit different.
yeah.
All right. So before we get to the topic, I just want the audience to know. I probably should have mentioned in the very beginning. Me and Dr. Ugly over here have known each other since 2002. A little fucking backstory. And it's been
2002.
21 years, a whole legal drinking age that we've known each other. Um,
When you put it like
Yo,
that.
it's crazy, yo. I was doing my homework yesterday, and I was just like, "There's no way that math is wrong. Like maybe I'm doing it wrong." And I'm like, "Holy shit!" No, 2002 is when I moved to Highland Park, and we kind of met each other around maybe late 2002, but it was still 2002.
I think it was summer 2002 when we started hanging out, right?
Yeah, and it's 2023 now, so that's fucking crazy. Like
That'd
how
be
many?
weird.
That's years. Been through
That's insane.
elementary, middle school, high school, our college years, post college years, and now we're about to enter our 30s next year. So it's pretty fucking scary,
That's
actually.
quick, man.
Yeah.
That's
So do
quick.
you find it easy that for like, because a lot of people ask me, not ask me, but they ask other people, like, how have you all stayed connected? What's your kind of recipe to have made our friendship going and also your friendships going since, because we have a tight group.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck, that's a good question. I mean, especially, I mean, I don't know, man. It's like something about our group is also really unique because I've never met anybody that has like as large of a group as back home. When I go back home and hang out with everybody, Shane throws a party or something, right? And everybody comes and we're just all friends and we have been for so long. Some of us since high school, some of us for longer, right?
Facts.
Some also new people that are relatively new also, but they come in the group and it's just kind of like
Yeah.
already tight knit. And I've never seen anywhere else. Like I've never seen this anywhere else. Like this is somehow super unique. Like I've never seen anyone that does this. And part of it I think is that I don't know. One aspect is I can't really say how y'all do it because I'm not even there all the time. For on my end, the part that makes it possible for me is that because I don't know, like somehow we're good friends to the point that I can leave and I leave for 6 months, a year, and I come back and then it's like I never left.
Facts.
It's just oh you're here today, okay, what's up? Like oh I'll go pick you up from the airport. Oh I'll see you tomorrow. Then or you come are you coming for Tuesday soccer? You know what I mean? And it's just you just go right back into it, and it's like
It's like a non-stopping treadmill that just keeps going, and then you just hop back on.
I mean kind
Not
of
not
yeah.
not not too much of a big speed, because there's nothing really to catch up on.
There's nothing. I mean, yeah, I mean, there are things to catch up on, but at the end of the day, like it just, I don't know. There's no pressure, There's no pressure to be like, oh, oh, you missed everything, and like you didn't contact me for this or blah blah blah. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
nah,
There's
none of
no,
that
there's not like a
sensitive
lot of
shit.
bullshit.
Yeah, none of that sensitive bullshit. Because I mean, like, I don't know. I guess also like the older I'm getting, which I'm just I'm learning to, like, I was Shane told me to shut up because I was pissing him off about this, but I'm just learning to let shit go. Like I'm not letting anything like derail me from where I'm trying to be, and
Yeah,
I'm just going with the flow, like with the flow that I want. You know what I mean? Like I'm not letting anyone choose my pace on
yeah,
where I want to go, how what I want to do. And as you get older, I don't know, you start appreciating more things, man, and you don't pick fights over small things, and it's just because it makes no sense. I mean,
yeah,
we're older. We've seen people come and go, man. Rest in peace to a lot of the people that we went to high school with.
yeah,
Like just having those conversations, like you can't stay on those little things. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. No,
you gotta keep it going.
absolutely. I definitely agree, and I think that's also part of it. Like a lot of the people in our friend group, I would say most of the people in our friend group, if not all of them, there's not a lot of codependency.
Yeah,
Everyone's kind of really independent, and
yeah.
I think
Everyone's
like
doing their
that's
own thing.
actually really nice about it, right? Because we're all independent, and then we just kind of meet up with each other when we can, and that's about it, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of us too. Like if we do have shit to get off our chest, we kind of do it in rational matter. You know what I mean? Like it's handled quickly. It's not delayed. It's not
Yeah,
built. And if there is, I mean, like it's between party A and B. Usually doesn't escape that. It doesn't
yeah.
go anything further than that usually.
People
But
don't pick sides. You know what I mean? A lot of times in our groups, it's okay, maybe sometimes, but for the most part,
yeah,
I think that people kind of try and like, okay, like that's between you guys, like,
yeah, yeah.
we're still gonna be doing our thing. Like you're both still invited to this thing that we're doing. If you want to come, like.
Exactly,
But
exactly.
we've been like that from a very early age, I think, which is nice. It really facilitated like that the group is still together to this day.
Facts. Let's see. So moving on. I've said this so many times, but I just want to make sure the media catches it because this is the very truth. Um, before we get to the main topic, like I said, bro, I'm very, very proud of you for where you are. I still remember the day when we turned 18 and we chose our universities, and I thought you were one of the dumbest people ever because you told me that you went and chose another school outside of the state, even though you were being offered more money. I think at Adelphi, if I'm not mistaken. I still remember that conversation.
There is a few universities, I mean, that
Yeah, one offered you like almost like a free full ride, if I'm not mistaken,
yeah,
right? Close to
yeah.
it. And you said to me, "Nah, man, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna get to becoming what I want to do, and I think it's gonna be some field and science. I don't know if you picked physics yet. Maybe you did. Don't want to put words in your mouth,
I was thinking about it
but
at
you
that time.
said PhD was your end goal. You didn't say you were going for it right away, but you said that was kind of what you wanted to do with your career. Basically, you said that's the route you wanted to take, and shit, bro, you fucking did it. I mean,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
didn't think we were gonna get to 28 anytime soon, and we did.
yeah, time just keeps going, you know.
Yeah. So good shit for doing that, man. Good shit for
Thanks,
sticking
man.
to your guns and getting your PhD. Like that is, I'm a proud friend. Like I can't, like I'm like a brother, like a very proud brother of you because like you stuck to it, you did it, and even someone that I think you kind of in a way motivated me to keep going too. Like a lot of you guys, a lot of our friends, you guys doing successful things kind of pushed me to just say, yo, let me get this shit done. Let me do my part. They're doing their part, and it's kind of like when you see a friend lift a heavier weight than you, it just
Yeah,
motivates you to like, yo,
yeah,
okay, like
that's true,
if
right?
they
We
can
should.
do that, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep
Yeah,
doing my shit.
that's good, man. Yeah, we're supposed to be inspiring each other like that. I think that's a healthy relationship, you know. But
Fact.
yeah, I mean, when I first went away to school, I had to say, like, I probably I didn't have to go away to school to eventually get my PhD. And at the time, I was deciding between like physics and philosophy. Um, in the end, I majored in both in undergrad. Um, but I could have done that, I think, anywhere. But really, for me, the biggest reason that I wanted to go away was, which I mean, I still have debt to this day. Like I have a lot of debt from this, honestly. But I don't regret it at all because
The experience.
I mean, I feel like at that age when I was there, I had to first of all I had to leave my home, right? Because like I mean, I love I love my parents, I love my brother and all that, but at the same time, like I just felt like there was something about the environment that I felt like just I couldn't grow out of it. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And also in like in terms of how I was felt like even with my group of friends, with you guys, with you and Shane and anybody else, right? I felt like I wasn't being like perceived as the person that I felt like I was, and I felt like I had to move away to you know be able to reinvent myself in a sense and like become the person that I really like felt like I was on the inside, and
I
I
feel you.
it really, I mean, it changed my life moving away and all that for sure. Like I wouldn't be the person I am today without doing that.
I agree. Well, keep going because my next topic also is like I want you to describe to us your journey on how you got to where you are with your PhD, how many schools you attended to get there, and once you finish with that, I got like a part two for you on that one.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
this this could be as honestly like a response as long as you want.
yeah. Basically, give us a because the question there are questions that are probably going to be asked. So think of it as just like as simple as that question. So tell us right after high school, like how many schools did you attend, and did you finish your degree there, or did you have to jump to another school to finish there?
Yeah. So I started. I guess I've been to one, two, three schools after high school. Um, I did my first degree. I did my first degrees at my undergraduate degrees, my bachelor degrees at University of South Carolina. Go Cox.
Go Cox.
I thought that was the funniest thing when I got there. The Gamecocks. They used to have these sweaters where it would say in giant letters,
Go
Cox,
Cox.
right? No,
Oh,
just Cox right across the front. And then in really small letters, like this small underneath, it was like University of South Carolina. I thought that was I thought that was
smart
so funny.
marketing.
Yeah. Yeah, but then after that, I got accepted to a PhD program at Rutgers University in New Jersey, actually, and that was, I mean, that was a moment that really. also changed kind of the course of my
Well,
life
AKA
too.
Rikers, according to Fonzo.
Yeah,
Rikers prison.
Rikers Island. Yeah.
Yeah.
um, yeah, and so there I met my PhD advisor Jackie, and she was also actually, the funny thing is that when I got there, starting as a PhD student, she also just got there starting as a professor. Like she just got the professorship job.
Oh shit.
So I didn't even know she was there when I initially got there. Um, and I was actually like I wanted to do experimental physics, um, but in the end, because at some point I started taking classes and I realized that instead I wanted to do theory, or at least phenomenology, which is like applied theory almost.
I don't know what the fuck that
Um,
means, but I'll pretend like I'll just nod my head to the audience, like, yeah, I know what that means.
yeah, and so I talked with her, and I was really interested in what she was doing. It sounded just super cool, and so I just started doing research with her. But then after a year of working with her, she got an offer. So she's a superstar. I mean, she was
Genius.
basically started. She was doing her postdoc in Houston for some time. Her last post, she did three postdocs. She like, which is what I'm doing now. But I'm on my first one. She did three before she got her professorship job, and her last one was in Houston. And there she was. Um, she has two daughters actually with her husband, who's also in the same field in physics. But he had a professorship. They met in graduate school while they were both doing their PhD. And eventually he got a professorship in Brazil because he's from Brazil, actually, her husband.
Brasileño.
Yeah, exactly. And so he kind of had to take that offer. And so at some point, she was basically like they were separated, but they had two kids, right? So like someone has to take care of the kids, and they don't really want to keep them separate, the kids, right? And so at some point, like towards the end, when she was literally doing this postdoc, like as basically a single mom because he's in Brazil, he can't, and they're trying to figure out a solution to this problem. We're like, okay, how are we going to end up at the same institution so we can both like raise our family together, like in a normal way?
Yeah.
And then she moved to Rutgers. In her first 2 years at Rutgers, she was a single mom, basically, because she was a professor at Rutgers, and George, her husband, was a professor in Brazil, like, still. But then University of Illinois came. And University of Illinois gave them both offers because they were trying to build up their nuclear physics department, basically, and hired both of them. And basically said, yeah, you guys can, you're free to take your group with you and everything. And so, and they paid them more money too, actually, and it's a better school. So they, at some point, Jackie came in and she told the news to me. She's like, you can come with me if you want, or we can figure out something else, or whatever you want to do. But just know that you're welcome to come with me, and you can come to Illinois, and we just continue everything just in everything as we're doing it, just in another school. And so in the end, that's what I did. And so then I ended up in the University of Illinois to finish out my PhD for 3 years, which was I got there. I was there for like a semester before COVID hit,
Facts.
which was fun. But yeah, yeah. So those are the schools, and then so I graduated from UIUC, and then I got the job here.
And I'm assuming, so she played a big role then. She was someone that basically inspired you to finish it out with that specific area that you were looking to study.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I would not be the physicist I am today if not for her, for sure. And George also, her husband George also had a huge role, and the postdocs that she hired as well. Like while I was a graduate student, while I was a PhD student, I mean, there's a couple of postdocs that she hired that also played a big role. And I don't know, there was something about her group that was always like, I've never experienced this anywhere else. And anyone that comes that when I was at Illinois, anyone that would come and stay, they'd be like, wow, like this is like the best scientific environment I've ever worked in. Like I know someone who
Well,
came from Italy, and it's his second postdoc, and he was there. Enrico, very nice guy, super cool dude,
Enrico.
Enrico. And he was like, and he said this is the best scientific environment that like he'd ever been in, like the best environment really that he's ever experienced. And I try not to take that for granted because it played a huge role in in my success and like my approach to physics and what I felt like I was capable of doing.
Yeah. So how'd you okay, where am I? Oh, so okay. And how did you how would what advice would you give someone like this in trying to embark in a journey to get their PhD, or just embarking a journey of wanting to learn physics? Like a 18-year-old fresh out of high school, how would you recommend it? I know you were touching up a little bit, like saying that you didn't have to go away, but personally for yourself, you felt like you just wanted to.
Yeah, I think for the going away thing wasn't so much about learning, like wasn't so much about the academic thing. The going away was more like personal growth, I think. So I wouldn't say that someone if to do if their end goal is a PhD in physics, or like, and I want to be a physics researcher, I want to be a professor. I wouldn't say you have to move away or anything. Just do whatever feels right for you, whatever's easiest. Going away was felt right for me. The thing I would say is, oh man, what advice would I give? I mean, yeah, it depends. I mean, if you really want to take it, if you really want, if this is what you really want, then I would say that, you know, I mean, you can give all sorts of advice about what classes to take and study advice and all this, but at the end of the day, I think that people kind of know those things. They know, like, okay. I mean, one thing I wish I had taken my courses in my undergrad more seriously early on. That's for sure, right? Because like in high school we were just degenerates, and so when I got to undergrad, it took a while for me to learn how to take studying seriously, and like to learn how to like doing homework, like take doing homework seriously.
Still don't know how to do that shit, bro. Like, good for you.
I mean,
If it was a struggle for you, just imagine the struggle it was
yeah,
for me to study.
I believe it. No, I
I
believe
hated
it.
school.
Yeah,
I like the learning aspect. Like, I understand like what you're saying. I guess I just didn't choose a path in that I wanted to really learn. You know what I mean? Like, at that point,
yeah,
like I fucked up early. The only advice I would give a young 18-year-old is, if you don't know what you want to do, don't rush it, and don't just pick a degree to pick a degree, because it is the
yeah,
worst mistake you'll do. It'll cost you more money, and you'll regret your decision later on of not going down a path. Like, if you have the financial wealth to do it, fucking man, explore whatever degree you want to do. But I mean, if you
yeah,
don't and you're more on relying on financial aid, I would say, don't just pick a degree to pick a degree, because you're not going to be happy at the end. Like, it's so crazy. So many people have told me this, but even my fucking general advisor sucked ass, bro. Like, they're like, yeah, 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 do whatever you want. Like, there was no like guide. There was no
yeah.
real like guidance in any of that. And I wish like whoever's in those positions now, like, I hope they're a lot better. Like, I don't understand.
I doubt there are. I don't know, man. Like, this is something that I always felt super lucky about personally, because I kind of like, I mean, you even mentioned it earlier, right? Like, from the moment that I went to undergrad, I had a really good idea about what I wanted to do. I mean, my decision was kind of like, I was like, okay, like, do I want to do physics or philosophy? And in the end, I just picked both, right? So, I mean, but I always like, I was always passionate about learning these things.
Mm-hmm.
And for that reason, I've always been like, felt super grateful for that. And I don't even know, like, grateful to who or what. I don't know. I'm just happy that I had that feeling, like, from the beginning, that I was like, this is like, I zeroed in on it. I was like, this is really what I want to do. This is what I'm passionate about. And that was, yeah, a very lucky thing for me. So in that sense, I don't know, like, what advice I would even otherwise give to someone that's 18, other than like, if you know what you're passionate about, like, do that. Just do that, because like, fuck anything else in this life. It's so short. Do what you're passionate about.
True.
But otherwise, if you're not sure, like, test the waters. Try new things. Like, just don't be bored. Try new things and see if you can develop a passion for something.
True that.
But it's also okay. I think it's okay to get a job just to get a job too. Like, there's no shame in having a work week, or getting a degree to have a work week where you're just doing work for that week, and then the rest of the time you have for your own life. I think there's no shame in that either, because
I
sometimes
agree.
everybody has a passion.
I agree. And that's what a lot of these kids nowadays, man. And I sound so old, but a lot of these kids don't. They're not motivated. You know what the thing is? I don't know if that's the parents. I don't know if it's society today. I mean, if I was lost back then, I talked, and the only reason I know about these generations is because of now I'm a supervisor at Home Depot, and in that position, I get to talk to a lot of young people, embarking in the entry level job of
Wait, you're a
working.
supervisor at Home Depot?
Yeah, Home Depot. All right, Home Depot. All right,
No,
Home
okay.
Depot. All right. Um. Uh. Don't sue me, Home Depot. I actually don't work for you. But I get to see a lot of young kids. A lot of them walk in. Some with educational background. Some with not. Some with just looking at this institution to work as their first job. And even my nieces, man, like, can you believe it? One of my nieces, I said in the last podcast, I'm not going to touch too much on it. She's now basically going to be an EMT very soon. The other two have graduated. They're on their own field
Wait,
and
who's going to
having
be the EMT?
Brianna.
Oh shit!
Yeah, fucking amazing. Like
Well, good
like
for
I'm
her.
not saying that I didn't see that for her. I just didn't see how quickly she was going to,
My God, that's actually insane.
yeah, do her shit.
I remember when she was like a baby.
Yeah,
Actually,
bro. She was like, she barely knew words. So nowadays, she's fucking gonna very soon to be an EMT.
that's insane. I have this distinct memory actually of being at your house one time, and when you were still in Allen Park,
Hmm.
and she was just kind of walking around, and she was just like a little baby, basically a toddler, and she fell. And whenever she would fall, nobody would be like, like because then she would start crying. So whenever she would fall, everyone would start cheering, "Yay!" like that, because otherwise she would start crying.
Yeah, that's exactly who Brianna is. Actually, that I do remember that. You could not gasp, or else she would react to the emotion and
Yeah,
cry.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, yeah, that person right there is going to be an EMT soon. So
That's awesome.
yeah, and as I see the other generations go, like my other nieces that are 2 years left in high school, one's in college with Brianna. Like Brianna decided to choose the path of the EMT. The other one's in school. I think she's studying criminology, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
And then the other two are going to graduate very soon, 2 years. So they're looking at serious things, and it's just crazy, man. Like, and I want to make sure I'm a good guidance to them. I never, even though I hated school, bro, I never discouraged it, because if that's the path you want to go, and especially if you know what your career is, fuck, man, you got to do it. And at that point, if anything, I let them know about the mistakes they shouldn't make, like an old person, but like I try to put real details to it, like real examples, because I know that as much as no disrespect to my parents, the advice and everything they gave me, they never went to school. My parents never finished middle school.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So like there was only so much of words of encouragement that I was willing to take serious, because there was no like real example, no proof to it. I don't know. Like to me, that, I guess as a kid, that was important, even though I don't think it should have been. But I feel like now that we can tell them, like, yo, we lived this, we did this, this is exactly how I did it. You should do it this way and take it to your own path. Do what
yeah,
you wish with. You know what I mean? Like I feel like
yeah,
there's relevance there.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree.
All right. So how the fuck did you end up in Germany? Can you tell the people, like, by the way, people, I think I said this in the very beginning. He's in Germany. You don't have to name the town, but how the fuck did you land in Germany after you
I mean,
graduated?
it's not so mysterious. It's like
Tell
there's
us the mystery.
yeah, I mean, they put up job postings, right? Every professors get money. Every professor has their own way of getting money because you need money to do research, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they get money through things called grants. And grants are usually funded by sometimes they're private institutions, but most of the time they're public funding.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time this will just come from like the government or something. Like in the US, a lot of grants are funded by the Department of Energy or the Department of Defense, for instance, right? Um, in Europe, they have their own organizations, right? And so every professor will get money from a grant, and some of that money in the grant is allocated for hiring research professionals, right?
Gotcha.
Some of it's for students, right? But some of that money is also for hiring research professionals, and there's money for other stuff too. But I mean, so that means that when I'm a PhD student, knowing I'm going to graduate soon, at some point you go on the web and there's good places to look for this that we all, as people in physics, know about. And you go and you just scroll through a bunch of things like, okay, we need a postdoc to do this. Oh, we need a postdoc to do this. And they're just all at different places. And you apply to all of them. And then whoever agrees is with you is the one, whoever gives you the job gives you the job, you know. Sometimes you get more than one. I actually was deciding when I came here, I was deciding between Germany and there was also a school in Spain. So I there was two
Wow,
job
yeah.
offers I had. Um,
How
I
does that
only
work though? Like, how does I guess I don't know if you know the answer, but how does one accept Travis, the recent graduate, to get a postdoc job?
Yeah, so they'll get a bunch of applicants, right? And they'll go and you know you do the application, you send them, you send your CV, which is basically an academic resume.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
you send you send you know a personal not a personal statement but a cover letter, you know.
Kind
So
of like
like
an interview, yeah, like a job
it's
application.
exactly like a job application, right? And then it is literally a job process. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, this is a real job that I have,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so and then
It's
they'll
a
just do
fake job.
interviews. I mean, it kind of it's fake
No,
sometimes.
no, no, it's a real job. But the reason I'm asking, like, is there anything like different, more like, in terms of do you see? Did you have to do anything different other than present a cover letter, a resume, your academic reports? Do they
No,
ask
I
for
mean
certain things?
it's just it's the same thing, but just in a different context, you know. And then one thing, for instance, when I go for interviews, I mean they'll ask you about previous work you've done. You know, they might have questions on some papers I've written or that I'm an author on, for instance, right? Then you just have to answer those, right? So the interview will go like something like that. You know,
Have you
they'll
read a book? I mean, have you wrote a book,
a
or are
book.
you
I
wrote
mean, not a book, but I have a few
a few
papers.
papers? They're published.
Yeah, I'm a published author.
Oh, okay, good for you.
My first paper got published in like 2020, I think, actually.
Good shit. So science fucks. They know about you, huh? Well, maybe not
Science.
everyone, but some do.
Some science folks know about me.
There you go, science fucks. Look at that. Some motherfuckers know about T-Rab money.
Yeah.
When
That's it.
one day I'll get when you write a book, I'm gonna bring it to you. I just need you to sign it. T-Rab money, not T-Door, not none of that.
No, no,
T-Rab
yeah.
money.
You have
I get my own
dollars.
special edition.
Yeah.
Um. Okay, so my next question is kind of answered. I mean, you can put some more backstory to it, but I guess there was no drive for you to go to Germany. It was kind of like this place accepted you. You looked at it and you said it was between
Yeah.
that and Spain.
Yeah, exactly. I was leaning Spain a little bit actually, but in terms of lifestyle, I think it would have suited me more. But in the end, I think that this was the better from a career perspective, and also money wise, it was better.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. English, normal thing. Like, is that like professor and everyone around your thing? No.
I think I would have been able to communicate better in Spain, because I mean I'm not a native Spanish speaker, but I could speak Spanish pretty well. But people do know English here. Of course, the professors all know. I mean, in science, everybody knows English
Yeah,
because
I was gonna say it's probably like
it
a
is. Yeah, I mean, papers are all written in English, no matter where you're from. You know, and it's the universal language, right? Which is why in Europe, also not just scientists, but many people know multiple languages in Europe. Usually, at least two or so. I would say
yeah. I was
most
gonna say that's a common
majority of
thing
people
in
know
Europe.
two languages at least. At least
It's
they
only
know
the
their language.
U.S. It's only the U.S. where they fucking only know English.
Yeah, yeah, but the U.S. is also more isolated, right? Europe is different because there's so many countries and so many
That's
different
very true.
languages, like very close to each other. You know, it's like imagine if you went to New Jersey and they were speaking fucking Portuguese, like then maybe you would know some Portuguese, right? Like,
That makes complete sense. But even like Canada, right? Like we don't require the states to learn French. Like we don't even
yeah,
offer
but
that
the
much.
closest parts to us in Canada don't speak French.
Oh, that's very true too.
They
But then
speak
you got
French in
Mexico. You got Mexico, and there were no one's
yeah,
really. I mean, it's being pushed
that's
now
more
because
racism than anything else, right?
yeah, yeah. If anything, it's being pushed now because we're learning to accept that the population of the Latino community is just growing to the
They're
point
just
where like
there.
you can't
What do you?
escape it.
At
You go
some
to
point, you
Miami,
have
you're not gonna hear English. You're gonna hear fucking Puerto
to,
Ricans. So
Cubans.
Cubans, Puerto Ricans. You're gonna hear Spanish. It's like a majority of Spanish people
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that are there.
I mean,
So,
shit. How many Dominicans do you have in New York too? I mean, a lot, right?
oh, that's within its own. Yeah. Um, all right. So, now we get to the juiciest part. Kind of just like I want to know personally, what is living abroad? What has it taught you so far? Like, I mean, this
I
is
haven't.
Germany.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been here so long, so it's kind of hard to say. I mean, the winter here sucks.
It's
I'm very
cold as shit.
far. Huh?
It's cold as shit.
No, actually, like I'm pretty far north if you look at where I am. Um,
Said,
because
what is the town if you don't mind me asking?
Bielefeld.
Okay, because I'm gonna put it on map and I'm gonna show everyone a
Yeah,
dot
sure.
of where you are.
Bielefeld. It's Bielefeld. Bielefeld, and it's pretty far north. I mean, to the point that in June the sun will set past 10 p.m.
What the
You know?
fuck?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so during the winter, there's no sun. I mean, it is depressing. Yeah, that's
Really
the thing. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's like that, but it's not so cold here because I mean, if you know anything about like the climate cycle and like Earth, right? Like warm air gets blown up from like the other side of the Atlantic basically and comes over like this jet stream, right? Comes over to Europe and brings out like a bunch of warm air over to Europe. So like basically Europe steals all the warmness from North America. And that's why New York and Illinois are probably just as cold or if not colder than Germany, for
interesting.
instance. I think Illinois is colder than Germany, I would say.
I say
At least where I was. Chicago, yeah.
that's
But
crazy.
so I mean, I think even in the U.S., I lived in a lot of different areas, and we were talking about this earlier, right? Like just living in many different places. I have grown and I have learned a lot just from moving a lot and meeting people. It can be very exhausting, I would say, and I am kind of tired of it and moving around so much, to be honest. But
You're a fucking nomad.
yeah,
Nomadic T Rev.
so
Nomadic Doctor T Rev.
there's nothing that I would say that I've learned explicitly, like nothing life changing that I've learned. I mean, I've learned about a little bit more about European culture in general,
Yeah,
for
how is
sure.
that like? What's
Right?
the difference? Give us some like some differences between the U.S.
It really it depends on very much on which country you're in, of
Are
course.
people
In
from
Europe.
Germany kind?
I think it kind of depends on where you go. I mean, in my opinion, the people here are much more dry. Um,
Hmm.
I I've had a little bit of trouble like with like the locals, but part of it is also because I don't speak German, and they just, I mean, they for obvious reasons they prefer to speak in German.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, everyone
Dry.
wants to speak
So
in
more of a push you off you because you don't speak their language, basically, or just
German.
dry like Brian Dry from Family Guy, like just like like if you talk to them, they'll just answer in very monotone, simple answers.
Yeah, I mean, like they're not. It's more similar to. I mean, I think it's both of those things. Honestly, like
Okay,
I think part of it is that I don't speak German, but the other part is that I think that in general they're just like a little like dry. Like they're not so. It's not so easy to joke around with them, and like for me, I don't think anyway. They're not very open people.
gotcha.
You know?
And is it true the theory that we always think a German's really tall?
They can be. They're on average, I think, tall. Yeah. But
Okay,
yeah, it's not like the most. It's not the most like noticeable thing, but I think on average, yeah, they're taller. I mean, compared to Peruvians, for instance, probably. Right?
that is
Like,
true. Peruvians average height is probably like 5'4".
yeah,
Shout out to
yeah,
Franklin, that's his height. He's not Peruvian though. All right, so you mentioned some challenges, like the, not being able to speak German, but what are some challenges that you've experienced? I mean, you mentioned one just with your living arrangement and why you're in your office right now, but have
yeah.
there been any other challenges other than your landlord?
Yeah, I mean, the bureaucracy is they really like bureaucracy here is something. They really take like there's a lot of bureaucracy and like you got a number for everything and they do everything through paper mail. You know, it's not very. I don't know. Somehow it's not very efficient, and it's like everything takes a long time. So that was definitely challenging, and also, um, yeah, I mean, salary wise was not the easiest coming over too, because there were some complications with my salary when I first got here, and they paid me not my full set. They couldn't pay me my full salary my first month because I wasn't technically an employee yet. Then I had to wait some extra time, and so still catching up on some of that end too. But again, like that's yeah something that I think you have to deal with when you're in
Yeah,
academia, because you just don't get paid the same way you would somewhere else, like outside in the industry, right, in the private sector.
makes
Um,
sense.
so it's just something that comes along with it, I guess. But yeah, I mean the language is a challenge, and one thing is making friends actually outside of academia. So one thing I really like is, especially because I was, and I guess in the US it was also easier because I was always working, in a restaurant or something, or it was much easier to. Oh, so that's another thing, right? It's like it is. So far, I mean, at least I don't know. I haven't really experienced the summer yet, but so far it has been so hard to just like go out and play soccer somewhere, because everything that they do is like scheduled. You have to go and you have to sign up, and then like you have to sign up every week, and then if you're not on time, then it's a big deal. And it's like I just want to be able to go to a field and just see people playing pickup and just be like, "Hey, you need one?" They're like, "Yeah, you're going this way." Okay, good. That's it. But they're not like that here. Like they like their schedules. They're very like this.
Concrete with
Like
it.
it's yeah. And so for me, it's been hard to make friends outside of academia, which I like to do because I like to have kind of a separation in
Of
my
your
life
work
between
life.
yeah, I like to have my academia life and kind of like my friends, and I don't necessarily want them to mix all the time, you know. But I think that that has also been conducive to like, I've made a lot of friends here in the department here, and we actually have kind of like a closest group,
That's
that
good.
we hang out sometimes, and a lot of times actually, and yeah. So I would say that it has it's good things and bad things.
Yeah, listen to the pros and cons. Well, how is so relatively you kind of understand how if you had the same salary what they're paying you now in the US, right? Do you think the cost of living is more expensive in the US or based off where you are now? Like to go out to
Living
eat, living, rent.
in general, the cost of living is cheaper here, but my salary also is not what it would be in the U.S. So in the U.S. as a postdoc, I think I would my gross amount would be larger,
Gotcha.
but the cost of living, I think, in general
Would be
is also
higher.
larger. And here they also charge you more for taxes, right? So I mean, I would say for my gross amount, I probably get taxed like 50%.
In Germany?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Where does that shit go to? What
Well, I
programs
mean,
do they have over there? I mean, you have health
healthcare.
insurance?
Everyone
Okay,
has
that's
health
probably why.
insurance, for instance, right? Yeah, I mean,
So roughly, you're making. Let's just hypothetically, we're not gonna say real numbers, but 2,000 when you're only getting 1,000 out of that.
yeah, I mean, for instance, like if my gross was 2,000, I get about half of it for a month. For a month, I mean, I make more than
Yeah,
2,000
yeah,
gross,
yeah,
but
yeah. I just want to make simplify it for the
yeah,
people. You know what I mean? Simplify, make it
yeah,
easy. Damn, 50%. I mean, don't get me wrong. The U.S. definitely bends you over too, but I mean, the health insurance is there, which is good.
yeah. I mean, it's nice to have health insurance. Honestly, I haven't used it as much as I should, but I have used it a few times already.
Yeah, go fucking like break an arm or
Um,
something. Just
and not just like physical health insurance, like also like mental health insurance too. Like if I wanted to go talk to someone, I think I get like 6 sessions before like um they can say like, okay, I mean, whether or not I have to continue, and if the person I go to see, like if they say, oh, this person should continue, then I get to still go, for instance. So
I mean,
it's
six
very
sessions is not bad.
yeah, I mean, it's encompassing, like it's not a it's
Here's like
good
an arm
it's
and
a
a
good
leg to
system,
do that.
actually. Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
Because you were talking earlier about, before we started recording, about your mom who fractured her ankle, and here it would be a no-brainer to just go to the hospital right away,
Yeah.
because it doesn't, I mean, everybody has health insurance, and she would just go and it would be okay. And so you would have known way earlier. But I mean, I understand why you wouldn't want to go immediately, right? Because I know how that feels.
Well, my mom also hates the hospital. Like, ironically, she doesn't. She hates needles and shit, and she thought she was gonna get anesthesia. That she thought surgery was possible on the table.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, but as me, I was more of do I have to take the necessary steps in making her go if it's just gonna be like, hey, her ankle's just a little bit swollen, things like that.
Yeah,
So luckily, I made the decision 2 days after and took her to it because it definitely got swollen too much and she
yeah,
basically fractured it.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
she's
No,
alright.
but
She's
that's
good.
okay. I mean, she's all right. Yeah, but it's just I think in Germany and Europe in general, it's just people are more willing to go to the doctor.
That
Like the
makes
culture is
sense.
different because it they're not so scared of being charged for things. Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
that's
actually,
crazy.
I have to piss. Do you mind if?
Yeah, let's see. I can put a pause. Hold on. Three,
Okay.
two, one. There we go. And just like that, we're back to recording. Look
Okay,
at that.
sorry.
So he's done with his little piss break. All right, so we basically kind of talked about the pros and cons. So that's pretty crazy that it take 50%, but at the same time, the health benefits are definitely there. And I think that would calm a lot of people. But
Yeah.
50% is a lot. I mean, that's crazy.
It's kind of built in though. I mean, because like your gross salary is kind of already anticipatory of 50% being taken out,
Which kind of
Because it,
helps, I guess, right? If you do get a high paying job over there. Like you kind of know where you're at. Like, well, I mean, anywhere you know it. Well, not really. In the US,
all I mean to say is that I don't feel like I don't have enough to live here, you
yeah,
know?
even with that 50% being taken,
Yeah,
because now
exactly.
you're. No, I guess that's good. That's good in a way. I guess that's like the ultimate debate at the end of the day that we have here. Like we want to be like Europe, but at the same time, are people willing to give up 50% of their salary? And that's kind of where like the rebuttal happens all the time. Like, oh, I don't want to
Yeah.
do that. It's not fair. Blah blah blah. But I don't know. I don't see it as a bad thing. Like from what you're explaining it and the way you're explaining it, I mean, it doesn't seem like a bad thing at all.
I mean it makes sense. There's also a ton of public transportation here. Like public transportation here in general is just like
It's
every
big.
city has trams, for instance, like every big enough, like every any city like up to a certain size, that's a certain size, will have like trams that can take you around and buses and stuff.
Yeah,
And they're of course
talk to me a
you're
little
not.
about that. Talk to me a little about your adventures that I see you've been going on your Instagram.
Oh,
Like, have they been like the fact that you've been able to go? Right? I mean, it's probably
yeah.
affordable, right?
No, it is. It's super affordable. There's also trains that take you everywhere, right? Like Europe has a lot of trains. And in Germany they have trains called Deutsche Bahn,
Deutsche
which
Bahn,
Deutsche Bahn,
Deutsche
which
Bahn.
which takes you like, or it can take you pretty much anywhere in Germany, as long, I mean, assuming there's no strikes. And sometimes they're not so reliable, like they're not so like on time, but I mean, at the end of the day, they get you where you have to go, and it's not so expensive. Um, so it's pretty cool, actually. Like I wish there was more trains in the U.S. like this. There's also, for the summer, they introduced this thing called the Deutschland ticket,
Deutschland ticket.
which is like a Germany ticket, which for 49 euro you basically can. Last year it was for 9 euro. They did it for 9 euro. You could buy this ticket, but this year it's for 49 euro. You can buy a ticket that is good for any train, any local train in any city throughout Germany, and also good for any regional trains that can take you like between cities. So there's different tiers of trains, right? You have like your local trains, and then you have like regional trains that will take you like slowly. They're basically like local trains that will take you like between cities, and then you have like
Gotcha.
express trains that like go really fast between cities.
Okay.
They have more than that, but like that's like the basic.
Yeah, I
Like
mean, you've been to Italy, so I'm assuming Italy's really close. Or you flew there or
to
train?
Italy, I flew actually
Okay.
because I went to Italy I went to Milan, so Milan I flew, and then from Milan to Roma though I took a train.
I
Also
mean,
to
cheap.
France I
I
also
said
flew.
cheap flight.
Yeah, Ryanair here is super cheap. Everyone says Ryanair.
Ryanair. Okay.
Yeah, it's really cheap. I mean, you can get like round trips for like. I mean, I've seen people like that get round trips to random places in Europe for like 50 euro or something.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so
That's
it's really easy to
that's
travel here.
crazy. I
It's
wish the
really
US was
easy.
like that. Just to go to fucking Florida, it's like almost
Yeah,
$300 a round trip.
you forget the U.S., dude, and not only that, the quality of the local of the of the planes that don't go international, the domestic flights in the U.S. have some of the worst quality. I mean, I hate those flights so much because
Spirit.
I mean, Spirit or Delta. I mean, any flight that's really staying local, it's like because the chairs are so small and like the planes are so small, and it's
Yeah,
just
man.
honestly a really bad experience. And with Ryanair, I mean, Europeans also complain about Ryanair, but I'm telling you, like I
Go to
felt way
Delta.
more comfortable. I felt way more comfortable than Delta taking domestic Delta
Yeah, I
flights,
was gonna
right?
say, tell them to go to fucking Spirit. They'll have
Yeah.
a fucking joyride there.
So yeah,
Um,
I mean, it's really easy to travel here, which is something I really like. I'm trying to take advantage of as much
yeah,
as I
man.
can.
Hopefully, I mean, hopefully we can come visit you one of these days. It's just it's hard. Germany's not the fucking
Yeah.
cheapest ride. I
At
mean,
some
cheapest
point,
flight.
at some point, the people were talking about going to Oktoberfest, huh?
Shane said he's down. I mean, that ticket's definitely going to sound very expensive. So I got to see. I definitely have to
Yeah.
see because I have so many people. I got like two people getting married this year, and then
Really?
I
Who's
also
getting
have
married this year?
um. Shout out to Johan. He's getting married, and then also my
Oh
friends
yeah.
from work are getting married as well. Christian. Shout out to Christian and Sam and to Barbie.
Christian Rodriguez.
No, no, not him.
Oh.
Work friends from Home Depot.
Okay,
So
okay,
they're
okay.
getting married, and so yeah, so I got that going on. So and then also like December, Kyle turns 30, so he wants to go to Florida on Epcot. I mean that should be okay because I'm going to use my points for that, so I should be free.
Yeah.
Other than paying for the place to stay, but maybe I can use my points for Germany, and then maybe Florida would be cheaper than using it. I got to see. I got to see how I work it out because he said he was
Yeah.
down. I mean, the closer it gets, if he's not saying anything by July, then I don't really see it happening. But
Yeah.
he said he was down.
I guess we should just say something if people want to go or not. It's at the end of September.
Oh, that got me. Okay. Yeah, yeah. So definitely have to get it kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
rolling
It's
at
funny
this
'cause
point.
it's not actually in October. It's at the end of September. But
Yeah, that fucking got me when you said that. Oh, that really got me. So yeah, but so you haven't seen really much of the summer life. You're gonna experience it this summer.
yeah, yeah. I moved here in October, so well,
Mm.
I've heard the summer is really nice here. So we'll see. I mean,
Yeah, no, I mean, just like here, you were getting warm weather. People are coming out.
yeah,
People blasting music, including myself. Put the windows
yeah.
down. Blast my Tupac. So yeah, no, definitely a different vibe anywhere you go, I think, with the warm weather. Even in Florida. That's why Florida's always lit. Like that
Yeah.
warm weather can change a whole mood. Like it's so crazy. That's how we
I
know we're
know
getting old, bro.
it's wild. Like the seasonal depression fucking hits, man. Like,
Yeah, no, it really does. It's
and
just
I'm
the older
telling
you
you,
get too.
if the sun here is out till 10, past 10 in the summer, you can only imagine what time it sets in the winter. Like by 4 o'clock, it's already dark.
That's pretty crazy. Just want to fucking nap.
Yeah, it's wild.
Um all right, so based off the small time period, and I mean you haven't gotten your summer in, but based off this small time period, has your life have you enjoyed it more than the US life
I would say no. Honestly, that's part of why I would say I go. I mean, at least
right
where
now?
I am here in Europe, I could. I mean, I really, I
How
could
far are
see
you from
myself
Munich?
pretty far,
Oh shit.
pretty far. But I could take a train there. I mean, but a train would probably be like 7 hours, maybe.
Fuck. What is there any soccer team by you?
Bielefeld has a team. They used to be. They were in last season. They were in the Bundesliga. Then they got
Oh, okay.
relegated. This season they've also been trying. They've been fighting to stay alive in the relegated in the
Fuck.
second tier.
That's
But
crazy.
I would say the closest Bundesliga team to me, other than them, is probably Dortmund. I guess
Dortmund,
Dortmund's,
Borussia
Dortmund's not
Dortmund.
crazy far from me. It's maybe like 2 hours by train.
Okay. Have you been to any German team games?
Not yet. I want to go.
You've been to Italy though, right? The Italian game, or you just went to go visit the
I
stadium?
just saw the stadium.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what's up. That's still
San
crazy.
Siro. Shout out San
San
Siro, man.
Siro.
They're changing the stadium, right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're completely. I think they're destroying it, right?
I think I saw something about that, but I think it's actually not for sure yet.
Okay.
If some
Okay.
point they were going to do it, then they weren't. I don't know. Like I'm not sure if they were going to do it for sure.
So
Yeah,
do you bump into a lot of Americans over there?
not really.
You're one of
Honestly,
few.
not
You're
really.
few. You're one of the
especially
very
here in
few.
Bielefeld. I mean, in Frankfurt, for instance, it's more likely. In Munich, maybe also more likely. But here in Bielefeld, it's a very, very German
Bielefeld.
city, actually.
So you're the stranger. You're the odd
Auslander.
man out.
Auslander, they call it here.
Auslander.
Yeah.
Auslander.
Yeah.
Say it with me,
Yeah.
people. Auslander. What does that mean?
It
Outcast?
means like outsider, like
Outside. Auslander.
foreigner.
Outcast. I'm gonna
Yeah.
use these words. Auslander. Uh so we all right, we basically went through almost all the questions I had. I mean, living abroad, bro, like what, not just abroad, but like you mentioned it little by little, but like you basically my pros from it, you've basically learned to live independently by yourself. You know how to cope with that. You think it's gonna be weird when you come back here and you have to live again with the parents, or when you do find the girl? You think it's gonna be hard for you? Strange?
Yeah. So I've gone back and lived with my parents, like for instance, in the summer, I was home for a couple months,
That's true.
and coming back for a couple months. I mean, one thing with living with my parents that, like, in some sense, I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do when I come back to and try and and try and take care of them. But it gets really, like, it's nice in the beginning, and after a month, it just gets fucking old. Like, it gets really old. Like, after the first month, I'm just kind of like, okay,
They're very in their ways, right? They're
uh,
just like my
oh,
parents, man. they,
very much
they
in the
they
way.
argue
Like,
about the same shit. They get each other tight. They piss each
yeah,
other off. And they
they
do it on
argue.
purpose, bro. I've caught them, and my mom will just like when she says something really fucked up, like she turn to me and she just be like, "Yeah, I got him." I'm just like, wait. I was like, wait, why did you
just
go?
for the
Why did you just
just for
do
the
that?
drama.
Yeah, and it's just I'm like, but like the way my advice to you, just build your own space, and then they kind of know to respect it at this point. Like it's just like weird, like they just don't bother me, but at the same time they know sometimes they just want to talk, which is fine. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I don't talk to them. I talk to them enough, but in their head they just want to always socialize.
Yeah. No,
And
with my parents, it's even more than that. I think sometimes they can be a little like kind of helicopter over me a little bit, because they're not used to me being home and independent, right? Like, they
that's
know
true.
that I've lived outside and been independent, but when I come home, it's almost like something switches in them, and all of a sudden, like, it's like they forget that, like, I've lived on my own for like over 10 years.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I finally my someone taught my mom how to use WhatsApp, so she sends voice memos now. So now she doesn't even call. Like even if she does call, like I always tell him, like, "Yo, stop calling me. I'm not coming. I'll come home soon." But
Yeah.
sometimes, she's being a mom. She just wants, because I'm the baby boy, so she's always asking like, "Oh, did you eat? Like, how's your day
Oh,
going?"
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
Okay.
oh, you didn't usually she know, like I guess she has an idea of what my schedule's like on her agenda. So like if I'm not home at that time, she just calls and says, like, now she doesn't call. That's what I love. She uses the voice memo. Hey, everything good? And I'll just voice memo back. Yeah, everything's good. I'm just like doing extra thing for work, or blah
Yeah.
blah blah. Or I'm doing the podcast, or or my, she Tuesdays, like she knows soccer's there, so she doesn't even cook dinner like for me,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
even come home. I like I go out for work, and then I'm home probably like at 10:30 o'clock.
Does she want to know, like, where you are, like where you're going? If, like, you're home and you leave,
Uh
like, does she ask, like, "Oh, where are you going? What are you doing?" Or do you just?
uh so not really, not anymore. She's more of like I said, if I'm not home at a time that she's been, scheduled to see me home, she'll just ask like, "Hey, everything okay? Because dinner's ready. Like, should I just put it away, put it in the microwave? Like, just want
Yeah,
to make
yeah,
sure."
yeah,
So it's more of not really like, where are you? She just wants to make sure like the accommodations there for me, I guess, when I'm home. Even though I tell them like, "Hey, listen, like
it's
I
really
appreciate
nice.
that, but you don't
Yeah,
have to. You can just put it in the fridge. Like I don't give a shit if I have to reheat it."
yeah,
But it's nice. It's nice. Like I said, I'm the baby, so she's gonna do mom regardless. Like no matter, even if I tell her to stop, she doesn't
yeah,
care.
yeah, yeah. No, my mom will do that also, which is when I'm home, which is really nice. One of the benefits of being home, like, I don't have to cook for myself and all that, of course.
Facts.
But at the same time, I think part of it is what I'm telling you is like when they don't quite understand that like I've been independent for so long, and then to come back home and I'll leave, and then they're always like, "Oh, where are you going? What time are you going to be back? You know, what are you doing? Who are you going with?" And it's like you need to give me a little bit of space. And it's not just that, it's that compounded with a lot of other things that they do, right? But for instance, like an example of something that they do, and it's like I'm just like I need space, and it's okay in the beginning, but then like it slowly starts to like
Get
get at
annoying.
you, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just started fucking with my mom after a certain age. I'd be like, I'm gonna collect my debt. She's like, what? I'm like, I do that GTA shit. I'm like, I'm gonna collect my debt. They owe me money in the streets. And she's like, what are you fucking talking about? And I'm like, you don't want the
Playtime, go.
answer, don't ask. And she just gets tight.
You don't want to know, Mama. You don't want to know.
So she just gets really angry, and like I think that's what honestly stopped her from asking me because I just say the stupidest shit. Where she's like, "Where are you going?" She's like, pink slips. About to go get my new car. Just like she just shakes her head, just goes into her room, and is like, "Fuck this! Like I'm done."
That's
So
hilarious because she used to get so mad at you for doing that too. Because she'd be like, "Where are you going? What time are you coming home?" And you'd be like, "I'm not coming home."
that's right.
And then she'd just get even more angry, and then she'd let Snowball out.
Yeah, she would, and that's the most fucked up part. Like till this day, I don't think she understands that. I don't even know if that dog was never trained correctly, and the only reason he stopped going in the street is because I guess I don't even know, bro. I can't even. That dog was never
He was
trained
he,
properly at all,
he saw the cars
and
go. Eventually, got scared of the cars. I guess I don't know.
I'm going to assume yes, but like I don't even because after a while he would just be out. He'd be in his normal space. He wouldn't leave the area of the house. No one fucking trained him to do that. Like
Yeah,
because before that he would escape. You remember he'd be going around on
yeah.
park.
And he would
Jose
just
found him at one point.
he escaped so many times. The amount of times you're like, dude, we're looking for Snowball. Can you help us look for
Yeah,
Snowball?
like people knew Snowball in the block. Like they knew, like, oh, this poodle's out. Like Pook
I
is
remember one
probably
time he went swimming.
yeah, he was swimming in the fucking bay. Like, and I couldn't save his ass. Thank God I wasn't the one asked to save him because I would have been like, yo, peace. Can't get you now.
We're both dying if I go.
Yeah, we both dead at that point. But yeah, no, I get you. I get what you're saying on that aspect. That's why my whole goal, man, is just trying to buy my house so I can just have them live in one floor, live in my other floor, or live
That's
even have me live in a
yeah,
fucking basement or something.
that's what I want. Honestly,
Yeah,
that's really what
man.
I want.
That's like the end goal here because at the end of the day, like with my situation in a couple of years, life's going to be changing for me too if everything works out. Hopefully, God willing. But I'm going to be in a different situation. But we got to see. We got to see where we are, and I know that my parents are getting to an age, respectfully, where they're going to need care. I mean, it's. I mean,
Yeah,
my dad and your dad are probably the best 75, 76 year olds you'll see. Like these
yeah.
people don't
It's
really
pretty
need.
insane.
Still, they can still drive from. They're still able to handle their own, communicate
Yeah,
well. Like my dad is even picking up like, hey, after a certain time, I don't want to drive. Like I'm very proud of my dad. Like that takes a lot because I know at the same time realizing that, like we mentioned in the beginning, it definitely hurts your ego. Like
yeah,
having to acknowledge, but not many people do that, man. We heard, yo, may she rest in peace if she's not with us. But the lady from Trader Joe's, like, like crashing into the store, like, I don't
yeah,
ever want that to be my parents, bro. Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
we laughed at that as fucked up kids, but nowadays, like, we realize, like, shit gets to that level, bro. It
Yeah,
really
like someone
does.
eventually you got to put the keys down, like you
Yeah,
know.
and I'm proud that he's realizing that because he like, um, it takes a lot, man. I think that if I was his age, I would always think that like, nah, fuck these kids, like they don't know what they're talking about. But
Yeah,
touche to him to start realizing certain things that he can and can't do. So I mean, it's a point of growing up, bro. Like even nowadays, like I know that there's certain things I can and can't do. Like I can't fucking drink like that, especially like if I'm going to work the next day, bro. Like if I do it, I've did it once. I was dying the whole day at work. I felt like, and you know what it is? I know that when I was younger, I was also dying, but I knew that at that point, at some time in my shift,
It would
it
go
would go
away.
away. Now it's just like, nah, like it's
Now,
constant
even the
pain.
next day, you still feel it. Like,
Yeah, like I don't feel right. I can't eat right. I have heartburn.
yeah,
My head is pounding even if I take an Advil or two.
getting
But
older, man.
yeah, man, it's definitely we're finally gonna enter our 30s, so it's a good experience. Though I feel like I got to experience the stupid shit in my 20s. Like
Yeah,
I've definitely done it. From our even when you mentioned that your work ethic, I'm like shout out to converts, bro. Like I think a lot of that physical work ethic came from that fucking place.
no, absolutely. I mean, like they treated us like shit, actually,
Oh,
but
absolutely, we were very close to being considered. I bet you we could have sued for so much money. The shit that was going on in there, but
God.
shout out to them. Like I
I
mean,
remember the first job that I got hired for was with you
clean the dumpsters.
When Kenny made us clean the dumpsters and the mulch.
Do you remember what he said after the mulch? What fucking had me furious?
Yeah.
Don't like the color. And I said to myself, yo, at what point was he gonna stop us? Like,
And you know what? It's crazy. You know why he didn't? I realized this to this day. I realize why he doesn't care. Because imagine what it would have cost to get professional landscapers to do that,
yeah, a lot
and
of money.
instead he was paying a $725.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy? Professional landscapers would have done it quick because they had like 6, 7 people.
Yeah,
This
I
was
mean to
done
be
by two
actually not
kids that never
725.
did any of this shit.
I think it was 8 an hour, but still nothing. Pennies.
Yeah, bro.
I mean, it
And
takes
taxed
what
on.
and taxed on, right? And what? So what? It took us what 3 hours to do it, 4 hours to do it.
That's the only reason I opened my bank account is because I thought he was paying me in cash. And when he gave me a check, I'm like, fuck, what is this bullshit? I had to go to Chase right after and open my fucking bank account. Shout out to Chase, even though fuck them, charging fees and shit, but I get free because direct deposit.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, man. I mean, do you have any questions, any things? I think we basically touched on everything. I mean, the final question I was gonna say. I mean, oh no, you said it already. You kind of enjoyed life more in the U.S. based off right now without your summer experience.
Yeah, based off right now. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of early too, but it's also just different. Like I think I'll just get along with the people better in the U.S. And this is not like it's not a blanket statement for Europe. I don't think either because I really like my time in southern France and Roma, for instance. Those places felt like places I could live.
I
Like
feel
the
like those
people
places
felt
are
like
more
more
for
open.
you. You're like a bougie bitch, You're more of like
No,
Italian,
I mean
French, or Spain.
no, man. Like the South is always is they have more money here in Germany. Honestly,
Yeah,
they have more money here. Germany is probably like the economic powerhouse of Europe. I
I
would
was gonna
say.
say that a lot of engineers over there probably. I'm assuming
Yeah, I mean it's also like Frankfurt's like the financial capital of Germany, right? Which is like
Frankfurt.
sort of like it's one of the most important financial cities for Europe at the end of the day. I
Fix
mean,
your
a lot of the
team,
money
man.
is here
That
in
makes no
Germany.
sense. They got to fix their team that doesn't represent in the Bundesliga.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, it's crazy. But so I mean, look, Germany's is it's all right. I mean, also there's also a difference. You have to take there's a lot to take into perspective because there's also a
Yeah,
difference between North and South Germany, for instance, right? And like if you go northern Germany, it's gonna be very different than southern Germany,
yeah, yeah.
for
Just like
instance.
here in the U.S., like you got
Yeah,
your hillbillies, and you got your straight up New Yorkers, your Boston people.
yeah,
I mean, anywhere
yeah,
you go in the U.S., it's funny. The U.S. works very even in New York. Even if you go upstate, you're gonna find different kind of people than you'll definitely find in the city. And then you go to Long Island, you find it's
yeah,
just very diverse. So I believe that Germany's the same way. I mean, depending where you're at.
yeah,
So
definitely. I mean, all over Europe is like that. And a common theme is a division between North and South in Europe.
the
Like
Berlin
the
Wall.
yeah. Well, that was East and West, but
I
yeah.
know. That's crazy though. So I mean, but good for you, man. Like hopefully you are back in the US in the next 5 years. I mean, that's when shit starts getting real though. I mean, we're gonna be fucking you'll be back for the World Cup. Hopefully if you're correct in
Yeah,
being back in the US.
yeah. It should be
Don't want
actually.
to
I
miss
just
that
don't
shit.
know. I don't know where I'm going to be in the U.S. It could be almost anywhere, honestly.
Yo, Texas is looking nice, man. Texas is fucking
Texas,
looking nice.
Texas is cheap, yeah.
Yeah, cheap, but the beautiful fucking houses, man, for
Yeah,
affordable pricing. I've been
but
watching
then
Joe
you
Rogan too much though. He's been selling that Texas shit to me. Yo, he's in
but
fucking.
then you have to live in Texas, like
Yeah, it's true. It's true, but I don't know. They're just saying it's more of the freedom state, and I never thought I would say that in my life. Like the way he describes it, obviously because he's biased, but I mean he came from LA, so he
yeah.
compares the two, and also like California. We know, like I've never been there, but I've done my research even after he said things like, and even the people that go visit and tell me there's a lot of homeless people. It's very it's like New York, very expensive.
LA it does have a lot of homeless people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I mean, California sucks because that's where most of the wealth is, right? But it's also very concentrated. So that shoots up the cost of living, right? Because like there's like a few people that have like a lot of money,
yeah,
like most of the money. Like I mean, I'm talking like Mark
Hollywood.
Zuckerberg. I'm
Yeah,
talking like Jeff Bezos, right? Like these people, Silicon Valley, right? This is California, and it shoots up like the cost of living, and then
by a
you have
ridiculous
no
amount.
affordable housing for anybody. And then you couple that with like shitty healthcare in the U.S., right, and mental health care in the U.S. especially also, and then you end up with that kind of homeless population in California. It's really bad in
Very
L.A.
true.
In L.A. Right? It's
It's
not all
very
of
true.
California, but
Yeah, yeah, very true. I agree with you 100%. That'd be crazy if they offered free healthcare. I know there's something that a lot of candidates have tried to push here, but I don't know if we're ever going to get that shit here, to be honest with you.
yeah, I
But
mean,
who
the
knows?
U.S.
Hopefully.
is very polarized politically, so I don't know.
Yo, man, I'm doing my by the way, people, I am doing my research. Let me look into the camera. I keep looking at the fucking webcam, but I don't have like my webcam's not connected. I have a camera. I forgot. My I am doing my research so much on my JFK conspiracy theory, and I'm telling you, the more I read into it, like I kind of already had my true conspiracy belief that the CIA killed him, but I'm telling you right now, they definitely fucking killed him. Like I've watched so many documentaries, and they're not all of them are just saying, "Oh, the CIA killed him," but they're all on their own belief. Like one truly believes, obviously, that there's more than one gun gunman. There's another one that believes the CIA did it. There's another one that believes that Castro did it. There's another one that believes that the Soviets did it at the time. One believes that the mafia did it. But the more I read into it, the more I've read articles too on this, and I've like the resources they used. I've gone and checked on it. It's just crazy shit to just believe that. Think about it, bro. Is a president that fucking got shot in U.S.
Yeah,
soil by another American happened here in fucking Texas, but
yeah,
in Dallas, like I don't think people understand that was a big turning point in America, and the dude was liked too by the people. One of
yeah. He was a really yeah. He was well
beloved
liked.
by a lot. And
Yeah.
it looks like he was trying to do things right. And when I by the way, when I do this episode on the conspiracy on JFK, it's just gonna be me alone. I'm dead ass doing a PowerPoint presentation. You guys are gonna all see it because I already have an idea of what I'm gonna do.
You know what? This I want to see. I'm gonna
Yeah,
watch
it's
this.
gonna be a simplified one though. It's like one. It's not like I'm not gonna mention like gun names because I feel like that's where people get bored and people get lost when you start putting a lot of as I the irony as this is, the more detail you put, it gets more boring. So I'm gonna kind of simplify and summarize the detail instead of saying caliber 6.93 and the
Oh
bullet
yeah, sure. I
2.3
mean,
like that.
that's not the
Just
important
if you're
part.
not enthusiastic about the whole thing, that's gonna make you fucking derail and be like, oh, this shit is boring as fuck. But I truly, oh my god, they definitely did it, bro. And it's scary. It's scary to believe like if the CIA fucking did it, like, do you know how scary? And the fact the files have still not been released, it's just fucking. Oh my god, I just can't believe it. Like those are people that are still alive and probably still governing us, and people that they've passed down to continue to govern us like that. It's
So
just
why do you
scary.
think why do you think they did it? Like, what's the biggest thing for you?
The biggest thing, the fact that Lee Harvey Oswald was definitely connected to CIA, 100%. Like there's proof of that. There's
Yeah, but what did the
documentation.
CIA? What did the CIA have to gain?
He JFK was someone that they in the media they made him they perceived him as someone that wanted to do the Bay of Pigs invasion, which he didn't want to. He actually was against that, and I think there's documentation that I still have to make sure I get my hands on. But the Kennedys have presented saying that he was never for it, but it wouldn't have been it wouldn't have been a thing that JFK had to do it. Like without his permission, it would have never been done. So that part is true. He actually
Sure.
had to sign off on it. And he signed off on it though because he was pressured and also because they were going to do it regardless. And what basically ended up happening was when he realized it was going to happen regardless of him signing off on it or not, he did it knowing that this would be something that favored the US a little bit, but he was told it was going to succeed. It's like, oh, this is definitely the people. He was told that people in Cuba hated Castro. That
Mm,
once those men from invaded Cuba, they were gonna see that the battle was happening, and the Cubans were going to be along for the people that were trying to rebel against Castro, which was quite the opposite. It didn't happen that way, supposedly. Supposedly, in all these videos that I've watched, as soon as they saw the rebellion happen, no one supported the rebellion. They were like, "Nah, fuck that, fuck those guys, those Cubans that are here trying to rebel against Castro. We're not
yeah,
with them. Like we're against them. So we're here with you, Castro." And they took it down. They automatically just wiped them out. It was easy.
yeah,
It was an
yeah,
easy, like you know what I mean. Like imagine I told you, "Yo, bro, let's go attack them." And as soon as we attack them, the people that they're scaring, they're gonna side with us, and then we're gonna just surround them from both sides. And then I tell you, and we go over there, and then they don't surround us from both sides. They now all just surround us because we're
yeah.
only few. We're only a few people. We were hoping that they were gonna, go against their leader, but they didn't. And there's just so much more into it. And there's so much footprints of like the things that their investigation doesn't make sense, man. There wasn't a lone gunman. There's physically actually physics. There's physics in this thing that they provided, and I'll even send it to you so you can just look at it. There's no way one bullet shot like one three bullets shot the president from one gun within that time period, and then also from that three bullets that they said there was one bullet that penetrated two people in different angles. And
Mm.
they try to make you buy into this theory, and I'm gonna explain it a lot better. I have all my shit written. I just had to put it into a PowerPoint. It's gonna be nice though. It's gonna be nice for the people that actually like conspiracy theories. This is gonna be nice, and this is something that I love conspiracy theories, but this one I really believe, bro. It's scary. It's scary because I never thought that I would buy into it, but I was like, yo,
Yeah.
it's some scary shit, bro. It's some
I
very
mean,
scary shit.
one thing I'll always believe, like you'll never have to convince me, is that the CIA is doing some fucked up shit. So,
Yeah, man. I
I
mean,
mean,
they
that's
they
something
say
you never
they
have to convince me. I mean, I mean, they're have a history of being fucking awful, terrible
Yeah, I was gonna say, right? Their excuse for most of it
organization.
is they do it for the better good, right, of the people. But how true is
I
that?
mean,
Like
for
you
who?
can get away with that. You can get away with that excuse about a lot of things.
Oh, man, there's one podcast that I really like. Actually, I was listening to for a while when I was in the States. I don't know if you ever heard his past podcast, Behind the Bastards.
No. It's good.
If you have a chance, check it out. Yeah, and especially some of the ones about the CIA, the founders of the CIA, the Dulles brothers, the Dolan brothers. Hold on, actually, let me look this really up really quick so I don't fuck it up. The
Well,
Dole,
maybe you know this. Then do you know
the
it was
Dulles brothers.
founded
Yeah, yeah,
by? Were they mafia people? Were they
yeah. The
incorporated with
Dulles
the
brothers
mafia?
were like, no, they weren't incorporated with the mafia.
Okay. A lot of the things that I've been watching and read on is the mafia had a big hand, obviously. Money talks. Money is what runs America today. Big corporations, they're going to have a say. Like that's obvious. A lot of people say it, some people just let it go over their shoulder, but that's the truth to it. Like if you have the funding and you have the financing power to do something, it's going to be done. So a lot of what they say is that the CIA had a lot of entanglements with the what's it called, with the mafia. And the mafia had a big say, and the reason JFK needed to be assassinated was because his brother Bobby Kennedy was trying to get rid of, and he was trying to shut down the big mafia bosses like Marcello at the time. There was another guy too, and because that friction was happening, their first plan was to assassinate Bobby. But the reason they didn't assassinate Bobby was because it makes total sense. Like, you don't even have to think about this. If you assassinate the president's brother, what the fuck do you think is going to happen? The president of the United States is going to know, and he's going to use all his power, his military power, to go and shut down the mafia shit. No matter, even if it was going to economically fuck over a lot of the, because I truly do believe that the government is involved in some type of way with money. Like, and where does money come from? It comes from a lot of corrupt places.
Yeah.
And I just think that they came to the conclusion and said, you know what, but killing Bobby's not going to do anything. We have to kill the head of the snake, and what they considered the snake, and it was John F. Kennedy. And a lot of people, and when that happened, basically, what is his name, LBJ took
Yeah.
over, and Bobby ended up not. I think something happened, and then he was trying to run for presidency, and then I didn't get that far, but I know he got killed too. And his shit is also like all covered up. Like the shit that I've read, oh my god, like the shit I've read is just crazy. Like I just can't believe it, bro. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It's so intriguing too because it's just like, how did we get here? How the fuck has this America? And then you hear it all the time. America's a big bully. America's a big bully in foreign affairs. We see all we hear the conspiracy theories with the true reason why the U.S. went to go fight war in Iraq was for oil. You hear that. I don't know if you heard that. I hear it all the time that
Yeah.
the true
Sure. Yeah.
reason was that, and that we knew about 9/11 like we knew a plan against of something that was going to happen 9/11 that George
So
W.
you,
Bush
you
knew.
just cut out completely.
You still hear me, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so basically we're gonna summarize it, but that shit's coming soon. That shit's coming soon. Maybe not on episode 3 or 4 because I have guests ready for that one. Not 5 or 6, as I promised people on that one too. Maybe like episode 7 or 8, or maybe I'll just drop it for YouTube. That's what also I was thinking. Maybe just like a separate thing from the pod because I don't want to scare anyone thinking I'm like a nut job. But it's some interesting shit. It's some interesting shit. But anything you want to say, Doctor Ugly?
No, I mean, I think we talked about a lot already. You know.
Yeah, man. It was definitely a pleasure to have you. Hopefully, are you coming back to the States anytime soon?
Probably. Well, I'll be in the States actually in June, but I'll be in California.
Cali,
And then
June.
I'll be in Texas in September, most likely for for a conference. So I'll be in California for 3 weeks for a workshop. So I'll be in Santa Barbara in June for the better part of June, and then I'll be in
Texas when?
Houston, Texas. I'll be in September. I think like the first or second week of September, I'll be there.
How many? How long are you staying? Do you know?
Just about a week.
Let me know. I've been yet to visit Texas, and like I said, I'm actually interested in moving there.
Yeah,
Not moving there. I don't know yet. I'm doing my homework,
yeah. You were telling me, yeah.
and
Yeah, my friend here, my friend Oscar, he wants to because he's also my colleague. He wants to he wants to maybe check out Austin after the conference after we go like for a week or something.
yeah, let me know.
So
Maybe I'll fly out there.
Austin's
That I can do.
cool. Austin I went to for like a night or so. Austin when I took a road trip like a couple of years ago, and Austin's cool.
I'm
Like,
fucking down. I've never visited Texas, so that's actually a little more definitely affordable on my end. So let me know if you're really going. That one I could probably do,
I mean, I
especially if
would
I start
say
looking.
it's like 95% sure that I'm gonna go. I would say if not closer to 100% sure that I'll be there. So let me know.
Once you're, yeah. Once you know 100%, let me know. Then I'll
Okay.
buy my.
Like
I'll look
once I
into
you mean
buying my
like when I
ticket.
buy tickets, basically?
Yeah, yeah,
Because I
exactly.
might buy tickets like I might buy them late compared to your standards because I get reimbursed for my plane tickets, basically.
Oh yeah, I'll just tell the podcast to reimburse me. um, I guess just tell me when you're 100% sure the conference is happening, and at that point,
No, the conference is happening 100%.
oh, you just don't know if you're gonna attend 100%.
Yeah, but I would say, I mean, I would say 99%. Like
Okay.
we should do is we should just talk like about like stay. If you really want to do it, then we should talk later at some point about like where to stay and shit like that.
Yeah, that's true.
And I
That's
also
true.
I have to talk to Oscar and
Yeah,
see
talk to Oscar. Yeah, talk to him. Talk
and
to
see
Oscar.
if he wants to actually do it or not.
That
I
sounds
mean,
good.
regardless, I can go to Austin. I mean, if he doesn't want to do it, we could just do me and you if you want to go. Whoever
Gotcha.
else wants to come too, you could tell other people if they want to
Yeah, yeah,
go.
yeah, I'm gonna let them know. I'm curious about Texas. I'm just my lease doesn't end until December. That's why I still have so much time. I'm a free agent in December. I don't know. I might re-enlist for another year. That's up to me and the landlord. But I gotta see. I gotta see how my financial area is going, and if it's going well, then yeah, definitely got to look at my options. But all right. Well, thank you for joining me on the podcast. It was a pleasure. Thank you for giving me almost 2 hours of your time. It
Shit,
definitely
yeah,
was 2 hours from the moment we were trying to get everything running.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, thank you, everyone. Oh, wait, did you want to mention your thing before we go?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah, you see that?
yeah. I
Mention
guess
it.
it's never really this didn't come up, but yeah. So we're working. So I just mentioned my friend Oscar, and
Mm-hmm.
this is a project actually that he started way back when he was still doing his PhD.
Okay.
Um, and it's an initiative called Many Body Physics, actually. And so this is kind of like a play on words because there's a field of physics called many body physics. Like it's like a kind of physics that you can do. It's a kind of physics. It's sometimes I do this physics, right? But like, yeah, it's a kind of physics that you can do, but also many body physics because the field of physics is made up of a lot of people, right? At the end of the day, we're humans that are working on this stuff,
Yeah.
and I feel like, me personally, this is why I hopped onto the project, but this is also kind of like the initiative is we really want to show a more human side of physics, and we want to show people that like you know physicists and the way physics works, like it's a very human thing. It's not so mysterious, and I feel like there's like kind of a divide, between like people who are not in academia and academia. And academia can kind of like really be in this bubble sometimes and very mysterious, and people don't know how it works, right? You know what I mean? And so we
Yeah.
want to kind of bring an aspect to it to like because when people think about a physicist, they think about the Big Bang Theory or something, right? And
That's exactly what
of
I
course
thought in my head.
it's not like that. It's different. It's very
Come on,
different. And
Sheldon.
so many body physics, MANY body physics is the website, manybodyphysics.com. And we're currently working on a revamp. There's an Instagram page, there's a YouTube page also, and we're going to be doing interviews and there's podcasts associated with it, and
Nice.
we're going to be writing articles. One thing we want to do that's really really cool, a really nice idea. I still have to try and get this approved. But this conference I was just telling you about that I'm going to be in Texas for is probably like the biggest conference in our field. For my personal field, it's the hugest conference, which is why I say I'm probably going to go because it's a very political conference and it's like where everybody goes like every year. And of course, they do it in a different spot every year, but this year it's going to be in Houston, Texas, and it's like the biggest conference in the field. And we want to go. We want to bring actually like GoPros. And we want to record the conference so people can see like what is it like what are physicists actually doing, right? Like what do we do with our time? Like
Yeah.
it's at the end of the day, it's not so like mystical. It's not so like occult, like we want to kind of bring that out and show people that physicists have like very real experiences uh and
Like
yeah,
so
we do.
not really wait, so you're doing so it's more of outside, like seeing that you guys are just what you guys do outside of your work or both blended in?
Both, really both.
Blended
I
in.
mean,
Okay.
because we want to show people like kind of what we do while we're working, which is kind of like what this recording the conference is about, and show people what is it like for us to go to a conference and what kind of work are we doing
That's what's up.
versus like also interviews, right? Where you can talk about things like, you know, the postdoc process. We talked about because one thing we talked about in this podcast is how much I'm moving around and stuff, and like that
Yeah.
can actually, I mean, that can get really exhausting and really lonely, you
Facts.
know? Because like, how are you supposed to for instance, like how are you supposed to build a life with somebody if you're moving constantly? For
Constantly,
instance,
yeah. Just like your freaking
right?
your teacher, your professor
Right,
does.
and like so, we want to interview her and talk about her struggles. In the end, it was a happy ending for them, but not everybody has a happy ending like that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
And it took time.
and it took time, and in a sense, like it's almost like academia doesn't really treat you very human
Yeah.
in many ways until,
You
and you
want to
know,
get the full aspect of the world of what you guys go through.
so yeah, we kind of want to show that out, and bring to light, you know, so that people understand like the kinds of things that what is academia, and what do people go through that are in academia, and what is it like? What is it really like to be a physicist? Like, what is, for
That's
instance,
good.
like,
I
what
feel
is
like
the
like I said, that's kind of like not the whole point of this podcast, but it was morely based on you, but it was also like an idea. Like we want to get an idea of where you're coming from. So that's good that you guys are doing something like that. Send me the Instagram page so I can also help
yeah,
promote it.
sure, yeah,
And I'll definitely add it. I don't add it to the screen when like I'll make a clip of it of its own. So hopefully, I'm getting better little bit by little. You know, I'm
yeah,
working on my editing skills, so it's not the greatest, but it'll work. It'll do good, and
sure,
I'll get that out.
yeah.
But send it to me
I'll
right
send it
after
to
this thing
you.
is over because I'm literally this episode has to drop by 6. So
Oh shit. Okay.
yeah, so I'm
Yeah,
pretty much. That's why when you said yo Sunday, I'm like fuck me because that's gonna leave me with a lot of work to do. But it's good. In the end of the day, at least my whole the thing that I'm pushing this whole season is consistency, discipline, and get it out. Like I
yeah,
don't care if it looks the prettiest, the ugliest. I definitely want it to be the best work, but I know that I'm I know even with this, I'm gonna run with a little trouble with the video because I think this dumbass program when it cuts out a little bit, it fucks up the video quality. So I'll have
yeah,
to work and tweak it a bit. So I just want the people to see. It's not the easiest thing to build a podcast when you're not tech savvy, but I want people to know the true trials from A to Z and how it's going to take. Yeah, send me the Instagram page, tell me the website link. I'll put that all out.
yeah.
Uh
We're gonna change the image a little bit. Coming up soon. Where we're kind of like working on a revamp with a friend of mine, my friend Jocelyn in Italy. She is actually going to school for like web design and communicate. Which she did a bachelor's in communications and marketing, and now I think she's actually still doing her master's in marketing. I think so.
Good for her.
And so she's very good at this though. She's like really good, and she's been helping us kind of revamp and redesign things, and so yeah,
Yeah.
we're kind of working on trying to re-image the whole thing.
That's
Um,
what's up. I mean, definitely still give it to me so at least you can get your following. I know that won't change, but I
yeah,
mean your
definitely,
whole scheme
definitely.
of the layout might change, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get some followers over there and then yeah. Other than that, anything else?
Nah, man. Thanks a lot for having me on. This is really good. This is really nice.
Yeah, really nice. Well, there we go. That's the thumbnail, honestly. That's what's gonna attract the people not to click on it, all right?
Yeah.
Everyone, thank you so much for listening. It was a pleasure having Dr. Dore on the pod. You see that sounds so nice, bro. Look at me being nice. But yeah, this episode drops the same day. So enjoy and thanks again.